we're witnessing a complete shift in America's approach to foreign policy.
Ukraine cast from BBC News.
Thank you for all your questions. I mean, we all have questions, don't we? We got this from Stephen on Discord, who asks, what can Europeans do about it? Could this really make us forget all our petty internal problems and start acting like a bloc? Are we able to grab the initiative on this? I might push back on that, Stephen, because in terms of Ukraine, broadly speaking, Europeans, and I include the UK in that, obviously, even though the UK is outside the EU, have been as one since February the 24th, 2022. There have been disagreements. Germany was a bit slow with certain things, etc., etc. We can all pick those things apart. But broadly speaking, Europe has been as one. Would you agree?
I would, with the exception of certain other countries such as Slovakia or Hungary. But when it comes to assistance, I've been crunching some numbers, and when it comes to aid delivered to Ukraine or earmarked for delivery up until now, not
military and humanitarian
and financial.
Yeah, okay, the whole lot.
As it happens, Europe, and that includes continental Europe,
Yeah.
is ahead of America. And when it comes to military, they're almost neck and neck. So it's not like Europe is lagging far, far behind.
No, but
America.
if it has to make up the gap, if the
Yes.
US pulls out, I mean, how much has the US given in the last 3 years? Over $100 billion? It's massive.
Volodymyr Zelensky says it's 70 billion militarily.
Okay.
But you're absolutely right. Even though they're sort of neck and neck, when that other half disappears, will Europe be able to afford to fill the gap? That's a huge question mark.
And in terms even of production of weapons and munitions, if they have to fill that gap as well, I mean, I just don't know if it is possible. Aidan in London asks this. It seems sometimes the focus is on the impact on Ukraine of losing 20% of its territory and not the people who are in those areas. Presumably a lot of them fled when the war broke out, but equally there must be a lot of people stuck there hoping for liberation. If these areas are de facto given up as part of a deal, would there be any opportunity for people in these occupied areas to leave for free Ukraine?
Well, the things that we need to remember is that there's absolutely no guarantee that Vladimir Putin will stop at what he's got right now. Secondly, it's true that most of the people who wanted to flee and could do that, they have done that. Of course, there are those who cannot for certain reasons. But for the rest of Ukraine, the impact of Russia solidifying its grip on 20% of Ukraine, that's going to be devastating. And in terms of refugees continuing to leave those areas, I'm sure there will be people who will try and do that after whatever agreements are reached. And also, ideologically, the message it sends to Ukraine and the whole world, you attack your neighbor and you get to keep what you've got. Well, for so many Ukrainians, politicians and other people, that sounds so wrong.
Sounds so wrong. And what President Trump would say to that if he was sitting on our sofa and talking to us on Ukrainecast right
I want
now?
my money back.
He would say, I want my money back. And he would say, look, I'm going to stop the killing.
You know what, Victoria? This is what Vladimir Putin said on the 24th of February 2022. Give up your weapons, nobody gets killed. Yeah, it's very true that the simplest and quickest way to stop the killing is to give up the fight. That's very true. But let's also think about what kind of society, state governance Vladimir Putin is bringing to Ukraine. Russia is a place where opposition figures disappear, die, are imprisoned. Why would Ukrainians want that?
Well, no. I'm not arguing that they do. I'm just saying that's what the Americans would say. This is exactly what Donald Trump campaigned for in the US presidential election. He said, US are not going to be involved in foreign wars. And we're going to, he didn't say it in these specific terms, but he made it clear that support for Ukraine, if he won, would not be never-ending. Joe Biden, the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, they used to say things like, We'll be there for as long as it takes. Trump made it absolutely clear in the campaign that was not his point. That's not what he was wanting to do. And he was voted in.
Well, absolutely. I guess the question underlying all of it is whether America, the administration and the White House, or the American people feel it's worth continuing to support Ukraine's fight against Russia. And when Donald Trump says that, well, you've got rare earth metals and we want, $300 billion dollars worth of them, that's not really assistance, is it? If you're facing somebody who's drowning and throw a lifeline to them and say, it's an expensive lifeline, what are you going to pay for it? What's in it for me? So we're witnessing a complete shift in America's approach to foreign policy.
Ukraine cast from BBC News.